yesterday, set this up and ran to Greg. Hey, we're live. Hey.
Hello.
I'm so happy this works.
Me too.
Yeah, same.
Oh, you guys sound great. I thought it would be cool to drive to Arizona yesterday from California.
Super Bowl?
No, Greg.
I'm actually in. Greg's doing some sort of event here, Broken Science event, but it is right. I mean, they have the Super Bowl here, and then they have some great, crazy golf tournament thing here. Wow. But I basically left my house like at 3:30 in the morning, and then got here like at 6 in the evening, and then set up my podcast system, and then ran out of the house and took my kids swimming to his house to go swimming, and then I came back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's time. And by the way, thank you for switching the time. Of course, I was not prepared for Arizona switching its.
Oh, that's okay. We totally understand.
Where are you guys? You're in New York.
Hudson, New York.
Yep.
And where is that, Hudson?
It's about 45 minutes south of Albany.
Sorry, one more time.
About 45 minutes south of Albany, New York, the capital.
Okay.
We're in the Catskills, Catskill Mountain area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in the country.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We live on a dirt road. So.
Okay. Yeah. Good. And so you see animals and stuff every day, like cow. Like if you drive around, you see cows in fields and things like that us city folk don't see.
We had a bobcat walking around our house the other day. So yeah.
Oh, what do you do when that happens?
I grab my gun.
They're little though, right? They're little, but they could take out a dog.
They're about the size of a small dog. Yeah.
And do you have kids? Oh, you have an older kid.
Two older, 20 and 17.
Okay, so nothing the bobcat would take away with it.
No. Just our cats, unfortunately.
Yep.
Oh, right. And I guess a bobcat could take away a baby.
I mean, if you leave your baby outside, that's kind of irresponsible, but sure.
Yeah, I've been known to do that. Free range baby. And you guys are the owners of Lumberjack Athletics, which is also home of CrossFit Luke, is the way
Correct.
You guys were.
Correct.
I love your Instagram account, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very cool.
Yeah, I see it and I'm like, okay, that's a cool place. That's the kind of place I'd want to work out. I dug through it and I'm like, these are cool people. Looks like everyone has fun. Looks like a pretty free, welcoming environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to come in anytime they want.
We actually just opened our second location over in Massachusetts as well.
Yep.
How far is that?
30 minutes.
It's not too far. 30 minutes from gym to gym.
God, my geography's so poor. When I think of 45 minutes from Albany, I don't think anywhere near Massachusetts.
So the way Albany sits, if you actually look, if you come down south, it starts to touch on the border of Massachusetts, like the Berkshires, Catskills and the Berkshires are close to one another.
Okay.
So it's not that far of you can hop into Massachusetts from us right now. We could be in Massachusetts in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now that Caleb, what are the how do you say the word Catskills?
Like
Bobcat. Catskills with a G or skills like they got skills.
You have it. The Catskill Mountains, correct? Yeah.
Okay, it's a mountain range. What's the highest peak there?
Do you know?
Oh gosh, it's high. We have a bunch of snowboarding mountains and ski mountains around us. That's how So that's kind of gives you an idea of what kind of mountains we're dealing with here. A lot of ski resorts and stuff like that. So I think I can't even give you an honest answer about that. It's pretty tall mountain range though.
I genuinely don't know either.
Okay, here goes more of my ignorance, and those are the Appalachian Mountains.
Do they connect at some point? I genuinely don't know the answer.
I think the Catskills are a little bit more east. The Appalachian Mountains are more actually more south here.
Yeah.
What's worse, Sevan's pronunciation or Sevi's geography? They're definitely in competition with one another. And you guys are born and raised East Coast folks?
Correct.
Yep. I was born in Boston, and Kristen was born right here in Hudson, New York.
And so you kind of went, for you, that's the country, huh, Leon?
Well, I grew up south of Boston in Fall River, Dighton area. So when I was there, it was more country. It's definitely developed a lot more now. But I moved up here when I was like 11 into the Catskills. So I grew up in the country.
And it seems like the kind of place you move if you're in a witness protection program.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I can see that.
We
Yep,
say that to
for
people
sure.
all the time. Why did you come here?
Yeah.
But Hudson itself has grown tremendously over the last 20 years. It used to be sort of a ghost town when I was a kid, and now it's sort of like a little Soho, honestly. Like a lot of New York City people here now. It's been changed tremendously. Like
you could take the train and be in the city in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's it's becoming a second home place.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
actually, since COVID, a lot of people have moved up here out of
home.
the city. So now it's first home. So
what's the population?
Oh man.
Our county has about 60,000 in it.
The county.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is podunk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
School classrooms with multiple grades in it. Like the whole when you went to school, Kristen, like you were in there K through 6 were all in the same classroom, like small like that, like 20
No,
kids.
not that small, but I only had like 90 people in my graduating class.
The school I went to was like that.
Yeah.
It was okay. Like a one-room school.
Yeah, we call them central schools. So like a bunch of towns would go there, and it would be like a 1 through 12, like a K through 12 situation. So like everybody goes to the same school basically. Eventually it's separated, but it's not like it was like that for a while.
How long have you had Lumberjack Athletics, the CrossFit Luke location?
We just hit 5 years, January 2nd.
We're starting our 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah, was it already a gym?
No.
Started from scratch.
From scratch.
Yeah, we are in our second location because we outgrew our first one pretty quick. And again, with COVID, all that stuff, we decided to get out of the spot that we were in and find a bigger location because we needed it. So.
And Kristen, you're a nurse?
I'm a nurse practitioner.
What's the difference between a nurse and a nurse practitioner?
So a nurse practitioner is similar to a doctor. Like I'm a family medicine provider. So I've been a nurse practitioner for 2 years. It's the highest end of nursing, if you will. And actually getting ready to open my own practice right in Lumberjack.
Oh, wow. Awesome. You do house calls or they come to you?
Mostly they come to me. I am willing to do house calls, but I don't really have that option where I work for somebody right now, trying to get out of that pretty quickly. So then
and Leon's full time at the gym?
Yes, sir.
Wow, you guys are doing it. Holy cow.
It's a lot of work. People have no appreciation for what it takes to just run an affiliate, much less try to do a million other things and open a second one. So
yeah, why the second one? Was it a failing gym and you guys are taking over?
Well, not that I want to keep bringing this up, but COVID basically shut the gym down that was in. So the gym is actually in Sheffield, Massachusetts, which is the town over from Great Barrington. In Great Barrington, they had a huge community and COVID shut them down. So when we were kind of getting things back up and running here, a couple of the athletes that were from Great Barrington started coming over because it's not that far of a drive. And they liked what we were doing. And they were like, hey, we think that you do great over here. And we were like, well, all right, let's do it. Let's get over there. Let's get the community back. They had like 120 plus members over there at one time. And then there's just no gym. There was nothing, not even like a Planet Fitness or anything for them to go to. So we were like, all right, let's get after it. Let's do it.
And how has it actually opened its doors?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been open for about a month and a half-ish right now.
Oh, you guys are wild, crazy.
Very much.
And are you having trouble finding coaches?
Okay, well that's interesting. We were good coaches, right?
Right.
But something happened, nothing, in another gym near us, and we were able to land a very experienced L2 coach it was like literally perfect timing. So he's in our Hudson location, and we have another woman that's a partner of ours. She's recently just became a partner of ours, and she's running the Sheffield location. And Leon's sort of the up here watching everyone type of thing.
I'm hearing this theme from affiliate owners, and it's just anecdotal, but that they're having trouble finding trainers, and that the trainers that they do have, even the trainers that they love, that they've had for a long time, don't care about the gym as much as their clients care about the gym. And that's really an interesting way to put it, right? Because you could have a gym, a coach who really, really cares about the gym. But if more than 50% of the gym owners care more, it becomes out of balance. There's like there's a relativity piece. And I know that just because of my kids. I take my kids to coaches and I want our kids play tennis and we were leaving for 2 weeks. And my wife felt really uncomfortable telling our tennis coach that we were leaving for 2 weeks. And the reason why is because we know the coach cares. And you want to feel that way. You want it to feel awkward when you tell your kid's coach that you're leaving for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you know the coach isn't going to like it. Like that, at least that's the relationship I want. Because then I know the coach cares more than I do. Like I want the coach. And so do you have any thoughts on that about finding, I mean, it's asking a lot about a coach. It's asking a lot from a coach. It's not like it pays, $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
In other jobs, you could get a job at Safeway and care, but still turn it off when you go home. I mean, you're asking for a coach to be emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all in. I mean, it's right. It's a people job.
Yeah. So we're actually really fortunate that we don't have that issue. Our coaches are 100% bought into what we do.
Which is what save people's lives. What is?
Yeah, I mean, we are the traditional CrossFit gym, right? We've had people lose 100 pounds. We've gotten people off diabetes medicine. We've gotten people to do things they thought like, hey, I was never going to be able to do that again, right? Like I got a blown out knee, I'll never squat again. I was in a bad car accident, I'll never do this. And it's like we had a guy who literally had his heart explode and was basically like fucked for the rest of his life. And now we got him moving his body again and living on his own and doing the things that you should be able to do as a human being, right? And that's all because of the coaches that we have. Also, the reason why I even wanted to open up a gym was to create opportunity for coaches, because I've been doing this for 13 years now. And I had definitely been underappreciated in some gyms as far as, financially and stuff like that. So I was very much into, we're going to open this gym to create an opportunity for coaches to make a living and have more of a buy-in.
Where did you work before? Where did you coach before CrossFit?
I helped start one of the gyms that's in Hudson right now, Railroad CrossFit, and I left there. Then I went up to Albany and I coached at a gym called CrossFit Avita for 2 years. And then I was just, let's go open up our own stuff. I can do this. Kristen and I can do this. So
you were always a CrossFit coach?
Not always. I was in construction beforehand, and then I was in the military for a brief stint, United States Coast Guard. And then when I came out, I kind of fell back into like some bad old habits, drugs, drinking, stuff like that. And CrossFit actually pulled me out of that shit pretty quick, and that became my new addiction. And then here we are, 13 years later.
I guess what I meant by always a CrossFit coach, meaning you didn't work at like Planet Fitness or you weren't a football coach. No. Your coaching career in fitness and health started as a CrossFit coach.
Correct. Yep. 2011.
And did you get kicked out of the Coast Guard?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, good times. For drugs and alcohol?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, wow. Can you tell us what happened?
Just being a shithead, I was too young. We were, just partying all the time, easy job. And, just one day ended up, we were out and I was sleepwalking out on a boat. And when you do that, that's kind of a no-go in the Coast Guard. So I had to go and see a psychiatrist with inside of the group. And then you take a drug test and then the drug test pops, boom. Coast Guard doesn't need you like that. They don't care about you like that, right? I think Caleb can attest to that, right?
Absolutely.
They don't give a shit. Actually, the first thing they told me when I left, they were like, "Hey, you can go join the Army if you want. They'll take you right now." And I was like, "I'm good. I'll get out of here. Thanks."
They would take you too.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, you could absolutely shift right over to the Army, and they'll take you like in a heartbeat." I was like, "I'm good. Thanks."
Wow. Hey, that's crazy. The sleepwalking thing.
Yeah. It's something I guess I did back then because I didn't put stress out during when I was awake. So it came out and manifested through sleep. So, yeah.
Is that the root of sleepwalking? Is that like a sign of like something's wrong with you? Like do people who sleepwalk, is that like, hey, you need to learn how to express some shit during the day when you're awake?
It was.
Is that a pretty strong correlate? Like, I'm just saying in general, you know what I mean? Like people who cut themselves. Like, like something happened to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a correlate. Or like kids who are acting out, right? Like all of a sudden you want to put a hole in your fucking ear, or you want to start getting tattoos. Like everyone we know who's covered in tattoos and becomes an ultra marathon runner probably had a meth habit. Like, it's just a safe guess. You're at the 80%. Is there something like that? Sleepwalkers, all that, like, you know what I mean? Like your dad hits you with the belt for 5 years and you're like, now I sleepwalk. You know what I mean?
I definitely didn't have that, but I mean, I'm covered in tattoos as well too. So,
and are you an ultra runner? And did you have a meth problem?
No meth problems, no ultra running either. But I am a good runner, so maybe there's a correlate there.
Yeah, I'm saying it half joking, but it's pretty common in California. Like just that ultra runner who comes from a methamphetamine habit, and now they're covered in tattoos. You have a lot of tattoos. You're not totally covered yet. You still have.
No, I got some space.
Yeah, he's got lots of space.
I got some space.
Yeah. And you have time, and you're young enough that you could pick up a meth habit. Although I think maybe you've crossed that threshold.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Did you quit that? Did you quit the drugs and alcohol because or taper them because you loved CrossFit so much, and because that's why I quit smoking. I found CrossFit at 34, and I'm like, dude, it's not that I wanted to quit smoking. I'm just like, hey, these two aren't working together.
Yeah, I was just so the guy that I actually helped start the original gym in Hudson, he actually got me into it, and I realized that I couldn't do both, right? Like, you can't do this and also be, partying and doing all these things, and so I really wanted to get my shit together because that was not the best time of my life to get kicked out of something that my father was very proud of me for going to the Coast Guard. He was a merchant Marine. Yeah, that must have sucked facing your friends and family. Yeah, I'm lucky that I have good people in me. Like, hey, dude, you fucked up. Oh well, move on. I was it didn't sit well with me. So I wanted to change that habit, and so the only way I thought I could change it was to work on fitness. Right, I was a wrestler in school, so I already kind of had like a decent background as far as like, hey, I know how to get into shape and stuff like that. When I found CrossFit, I was like, this is similar to wrestling. It's high output. It's get after it stuff. The community is very similar. It's also an individual sport, but has a community around it similar to wrestling. So I fell right into it. And then I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just go full tilt into this. And here we are.
Trish, the series rocks. Well done. Keep saving the world, Leon and Kristen.
Awesome.
Thank you, Trish.
Are you guys, there's this, were you guys ever go through any hippie stuff as kids, or any hippie stuff in your life?
I mean,
Kristen's a hippie.
I'm kind of a hippie now. I mean, my whole life, I have that kind of personality. I don't really enjoy time type of thing. Like, I don't like being told I have to be somewhere at a certain time, or I have to stay there because that part of the reason why I want to have my own practice, because I don't want somebody telling me I have to be here at this time and here at this time, and I have to see this many patients, and just much too of a spirit for that.
Yeah.
This is why I never went into the service. Actually, I wanted to go into the military when I graduated from high school, I thought. And my dad was a Marine, fought in Vietnam, and somebody had to sign off on me because I was 17, and he wouldn't do it. He said, absolutely not. He said, I love you, but you would not make it through boot camp because you do not listen, and you can't tell somebody no or fuck off, basically, if you don't like what they have to say to you. And, I'm grateful that he kind of did that, because it's just not who I am.
This is Caleb, this one's for you. Every time I see Beeve's bearded pie hole, I want to hump it.
Nice.
That's one of the most crass things I've ever seen in the comments, but I think it's like affectionate. I think it's like it's supposed to be endearing.
I think so too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
On other shows, we have another term for that, a phrase for that. But okay. Or scissor it, All right. I'm not sure. Scissor it means cut it, or
no.
No.
You want to know what that means?
You'd rather scissor. Trust me.
All right, I'll Google it later.
Take the scissor.
The reason why I ask is because in your profile, Kristen, it says like holistic. I think it says holistic nurse practitioner.
Correct. Yes.
And when I think of the word holistic, I right away think, okay, this person believes that the body can heal itself, that you can make lifestyle changes and you can surround yourself with like clean air, clean food, clean movement, nice people. You also had reduced stress. I think we've had some really, we had that guy, Chris Wark, on, who cured himself of stage 4 colon cancer. And although he was like a hardcore vegan, he goes, really, I just want to talk about stress.
Yes.
If you can remove stress out of your life, dude, you'll be. And we actually had Don Fall on also, whose wife he said his wife had cancer, and he focused on that too. That's the CEO of CrossFit. He focused on the fact that he wanted to remove stress out of his wife's life. And yet it's interesting. Your dad was a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
You've also married this guy. It's weird. We have them in Santa Cruz too. There's this weird kind of like, I don't want to know if I want to call them a conservative hippie, but
that's 100% what she is.
That's me.
Yeah. Okay. because I was a hardcore hippie too, and I still want to be a hippie. I enjoy a lot of the tenets of hippie. I don't feel the need to put chemicals on my body. I want to walk around barefoot, but my clan has abandoned me. My clan, they don't want to. They don't want to accept everyone. They like love is with my clan. Like originally I thought love was the way, and my clan doesn't want to love everyone anymore. Yeah. I don't know what happened to them in the last couple of years, but they want to, and they got scared of stuff. They don't believe the body can heal itself.
Yeah. I mean,
and I don't know what happened to them.
I do.
But yeah. Okay. Go ahead. So that resonates with you. Cause when I saw your profile, I'm like, oh, I think Kristen might be my people. Like this might be.
I am very much your people. We actually spoke a lot on Instagram during the pandemic, beginning times of the pandemic, because I was definitely one of the people right from get-go who didn't buy into the bullshit.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, when we first shut down, and we wouldn't even shut down, like every gym around us was shutting down, saying you need to we should all do the right thing. And both of us were like, yeah, no, we're not shutting down. Like
even that's a manipulative phrase, right? That's kind of lazy intellectually. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you explain to me what that is? Yeah. Who are you? Yeah, right. Doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah, and that's how we felt. And like both of us are pretty, what's the word? Unwavering individuals. So you can't really bully either of us, which works out really well. So it was a lot of us against our colleagues in the area. Nothing negative. Great human beings. They just bought into the fear, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll take this seriously for a minute when everything got shut down. I'm an educated woman. I'd been in medicine for 20 years at that point. And I was careful. And then I started to think, this doesn't make any fucking sense. None of it. And I just kept telling him, I'm like, this is bullshit. We're done.
Can you tell me some of the first things you saw that didn't make sense? Like you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like people like dusting off their food, their packages that came from Amazon,
exactly.
Stuff like that.
It's not how any of it worked. Like you're telling me that this is a disease, an airborne virus, which it is. But you got people like wiping off their food with chemicals. Like just let's add more bullshit to it. Right. We're telling people that they have all these symptoms to stay home, but we're freaking them out, telling if you have this, you have this, you have this, but stay home. And I couldn't.
Liquor stores are open and gyms are closed.
Yeah. Right. Dispensaries can stay open. Grocery stores.
How come everyone on that boat didn't die? That was also, I spoke to a bunch of doctors who were like, hey man, that boat off the coast of Japan was the perfect test.
Yeah.
Perfect science experiment. Scientists couldn't ask for a better experiment. And look what happened there.
It was just
like, and when they start canceling doctors of like, high degrees and stuff like that, and you're getting blocked on social media, it just becomes this big
suspect. You got suspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
Very, very quickly. And then we started being very vocal about it, which irritated lots of people in our lives. Saying that, telling us that, you're going to end up having to shut down. You're going to lose your clients.
You're bad leaders. You're not taking this serious. You're going to get people sick. You're going to get people hurt. And I mean, none of it happened, but
we just stayed the course. And we got tired of hearing, the Zoom classes were bullshit. We opened up our house. We told our community, our athletes, come here. come to our house, work out at our house. And they did.
I built a rig in our driveway, and we had classes outside in our driveway.
Bailey DiMena, do other healthcare workers that work with you, Kristen and Leon, think the same? I'm a nurse, and I'd say it's about 50-50.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In my practice, I am one of, like I said, there's 5 docs and 4 nurse practitioners. We actually were wearing masks up until about, when was that?
About 3 months ago.
Or so. I just stopped. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is stupid. And everybody in the office was like, what do we do? What do we do? I'm like, I don't really care what anybody does. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so we had this big thing.
I like that.
Yeah. And what happened?
She does that a lot, by the way. She changes shit a lot. When she doesn't like something, it usually stops.
I don't care, Leon, if you want hot sauce or not on this lasagna. I'm putting hot sauce on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But what happened was our whole office adopted the practice of no masks because I proved to them how ridiculous we were being, right? But I'd say that I might be the only provider in my practice who feels the way I feel. They're all vaccinated. I'm not. And I don't encourage that for my patients. In fact, my patients who ask me, like, should I get the booster? No. I mean, I got there a little late before they could all, a lot of them are already boosted.
Can you say that in this? I don't think you can say that in California.
No, really?
I don't think so. I think that I think a law passed in California that if a doctor goes against what's the state, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. That if you go against the state guidelines, that you can lose your license. I think Newsom passed that. I think our governor passed that, which is nuts. That you can't get a second opinion from a doctor anymore.
Yeah. Well, our state is only is second to your state. Your state is far worse than ours, but so I don't think we have anything like that. Actually, they just removed all the medical mandates for medical personnel, so they don't have to do that shit anymore.
Were you working illegally, Kristen? Since you weren't vaccinated?
No, I'm in a private practice.
Oh, okay.
So if you have less than 100 employees, it wasn't required. Okay. And I was very clear. If that's what you require, I'm out. Like, I don't care. And that's just how I feel. Like, if somebody has to take a stand, somebody has to do it, right? Somebody has to say no. And I've always been the, if not me, who? If not now, when? Like, I'm done. What
if you would have lost your job? Who would have put food on the table for your kids, your 2 kids?
We would have figured it out.
We would have figured it out.
I know that it would. When we first opened Lumberjack, that's all we did. Like, I stopped everything and we focused on Lumberjack, and we lived in those means. And I'd go back to living in those means if that's what it meant. It wasn't.
I want to ask you what that means in 1 second. What means me? Zachary Kadat's daily CrossFit tip. I watched the 5 buckets of death video and didn't buy into the bullshit. Yeah, insane, amazing
that's
video.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one of the first things that we watch. And when I watched that with Greg, I'm a huge Glassman fan from the very beginning. Everything that went down with that was complete bullshit, but that's a different story. But yeah, that 5 buckets of death was like a real eye-opening experience for me. And that's when I was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, he just explained it in the simplest way possible.
Totally. I'm going to get us back on subject here, but I did an interview recently with one of Greg's business partners in Broken Science. And she came on the podcast and she was talking about how she's writing a book. And someone wrote in the comments, hey, are you still going to write the book? And is it going to be a tell-all? And she said, yeah. And then someone in the comments goes, make sure you don't just tell the good stuff. Make sure you tell the bad stuff. And when people, and I wrote back to them, like what? Like the stuff we did with your mom. And it's like, dude, of course it's a private account trolling. And it's like, hey, dude, just say what you mean. Like, you're just such a pussy. Like, just say what you mean. Like, this seed planting of negativity and of meanness, it's just such cowardice.
Absolutely.
Jacqueline Robinson, driving to work, but I cannot say how happy this convo is making me. Way to go.
Oh, no.
Thanks,
Thank
Jacqueline.
you. Hey, Jacqueline, were we DMing this morning? Were you the one who was DMing with Steven Crowder and he was afraid of CrossFit? Someone was DMing me and saying Crowder was scared of CrossFit, saying it wasn't sustainable. It's like, dude, my mom does it. She's almost 80. She's been doing it for 10 years. What are you talking about?
My mom does it too, and she's 74, so it's definitely sustainable.
Sevan pretending that the interview wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. There's no
That was a great interview, Sevan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She was easy. She was easy.
Well, I mean, I think the conversation just flowed so easily for both of you. I mean, how is it not hard? You know, Coach Glassman is an amazing human being who basically laid everything on the line for what we're all doing right now. And the way that he was treated was so fucked up that I want, I want to line up the people who, like, I can't even look at some of the athletes, even to this day, the ones who, like, I'm going to mention names. Like, I have a lot less respect for them as athletes, and be honest with you, I don't really root for them anymore. I'm like, kind of pieces of shit as far as I'm concerned. And I'm talking the elite athletes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When you say, so I want to go back to this thing because that's the excuse a lot of people use. And I have a lot of sympathy for this excuse. I'm not going to I can't afford to homeschool my kids. I had to get the vaccine or else I was going to lose my job. I had to say this or else clients were going to leave my gym. And part of me thinks like, hey, yeah, I don't really practice what I preach because I preach to raise kids. You need to keep your mouth shut most of the time. But in the real world, I'm always like, just like, you know, spewing off. I wouldn't even say they're my opinions. They're facts. But you were saying that you would figure out how to make it work, and you were using the word means. What did you mean by that? Like means, like you would find the means, like the money. Did you mean like in that super food and money?
Or you just adjust, right? Like, hey, I don't need to do this, right? I'll get rid of some of these subscriptions like Netflix or something. Not that we have that stuff, but you know, you start getting rid of the bullshit that you don't need. Get rid of the excess and the spot. I mean, we're not like excess people to begin with. You know, we live a pretty, simple life for the most part. You know, I get up and go to the gym, spend most of the day there. You know, we focus most on our health. That's where most of our money goes. Quality food, stuff like that. So it wouldn't really be hard for us to be like, hey, you know, if we're going to lose $100,000 in salary, annually, then all right, well, we'll figure it out. Right. We're pretty resourceful when it comes to stuff like that.
In fact, one of our coaches, who's also our newest partner, her name's Mairead Fogarty. She did lose her job. She was working over in Massachusetts at a rehabilitation center, and she lost her job because she wouldn't get vaccinated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, what state? Massachusetts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very different.
I just saw this is totally off subject, but I just saw in New Hampshire, I'm going to play it on my live call-in show, a mom who is speaking to the school board about how there's now boys changing in her 13-year-old girl's locker room, and with two other boys, there's 3 boys in there, and they watch the girls change and make fun of the girls. And she was asking the board if they could put an end to that. And she doesn't want to be anti-transgender. And I'm like, how did all of these issues get conflated? Like, you have boys watching your girl. She was being so nice. And I'm like, how are you being nice?
No.
Yeah, no way.
Like no one can watch your girls change. By the way, if someone is doing that to your 13-year-old girl, first of all, pull your daughter out of school and then get a video camera and start going and questioning the principal why he's letting boys watch girls change. Then go to those kids' parents' house and knock on the door and ask those parents why they're letting their boys watch girls change. Like, just get a camera and just start addressing these people and make a YouTube station about it, and then tell me about it, and I'll have you on every week and we can get to the bottom of this. I want to have an open conversation with people who think it's okay for boys to be harassing girls. This is fucking nuts. What has happened?
I would absolutely do all of that.
We live in a generation of weak men. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's and the thing, it's not even those 13-year-old boys' fault either. It's someone hasn't explained to them.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere is telling them this is okay. And I agree with you 100%. If that was my daughter, I would be at their houses.
Yeah, you got to stand up. You like, where are you going to draw the line?
Yeah, I mean, I have daughters. Like, both they're but they're older and strong-minded, so I don't worry as much. But yeah, I mean, we have these things called furries. Did you hear of that?
I have heard that, but I don't know what it is. Is that where you think you're an animal? Or?
Yeah, kids are identifying as animals, cats, and there's schools that are putting litter boxes in.
No.
Because
I want to see one of those pictures of those litter box. Caleb, can you find a litter box in a classroom? Caleb, would you let your daughter go into the military? Let's be really sexist here for a minute. I don't think I would let my daughter go into the military. Well, not that I could stop her, but I would do my best to dissuade it. Caleb?
I'd probably be okay with it.
You would?
Yeah.
Honestly,
it'd be better if they joined the military than if they fucking did a lot of other stuff.
I hear you, but you're surrounded by a bunch of dudes who, second to breathing, want to just bone.
Well, my wif's
or is that life in
firefighter.
General? Is that just a woman's life in general?
Yeah, I think so. My wife works for the fire department, so she's surrounded by dudes all the time. And
yeah.
I think, if anything, she's way cooler because of it.
Okay.
I agree.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Stephen Flores, what will the value of untainted, unvaxxed blood donations in the future for blood banks? Is that real, or is that just us?
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Stephen's not too far off when he says that. Or even sperm, like the sperm donor, like unvaxxed sperm, like that's going to be a thing. I believe.
What do you think about? By the way, I have lots of those unvaxxed sperm. If anyone wants to buy some, subsidize the podcast. What do you think about sharing a coffee with someone who's vaccinated and like just like like my loved ones that I would like share a coffee with, no problem.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting a little bit of their saliva in my mouth, and I'm thinking, hey, do I need to be that paranoid? I mean, I'm a kind of guy who doesn't wash my hands when I leave the bathroom. I don't use ass gaskets. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
I think that there is a level of being too paranoid, right? And that's kind of goes to that stress. If we do that, we literally might as well put ourselves in a bubble because everything is something. So I understand how you feel. Like I'm like I don't want to get dressed sometimes. I'm like, what's the material in this? Now you have these microplastics in polyester. Like you can't do anything without being.
Is my shit off gassing?
Yeah, it's just it. So you have to almost be okay. Like, I have close friends and family who are vaccinated. Just there's a choice they made. I am like
all of mine, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. I'm open-minded. That's what I say. It's open-minded care. I believe in medical freedom. That's what I believe in. So if that's what your choice is, that's fine. If you ask my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. If you come to me and say, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, then I'll support you. That's what I'm here for. I am probably the only provider in my area that will see kids who aren't vaccinated. It's scary, right? Right? I am.
Okay, so let me get. Why is that? Why is what value does that group think? And this is way off subject. It's supposed to be running a CrossFit gym, but what value? Why would a doctor not want to see an unvaccinated child? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I believe that they consider these kids, what's the word? Like
a risk.
Yeah, they're a risk to other people in their practice. They're a risk to.
So these people think the vaccine works.
Yeah,
that it mitigates.
And I'm talking about. I have a very large population of kids who have no vaccines whatsoever. Their parents just made that choice. They homeschool, very large homeschool population around here. And these parents had no.
Are they Christians? Are these religious people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. Yep. And we have quite a few of them who are in our community at Lumberjack, in the Hudson version. And so, for me, it's like, I'll be honest with you, as somebody who's watched over the years, my kids are vaccinated against the basic stuff. That's just what I did back then. If you ask me now, I wouldn't do it. But that's, I've learned a lot in 20 years. But just the choices these parents made. And these kids are actually, in my opinion, just from seeing, there's something about them that they're more alert. I don't know, as the unvaccinated kids. I can't put my finger on it. I have no proof. I may want to do research on it someday. What
about the thing that I always see in my, peer group of other families and kids, and, obviously just anecdotal, is all the kids who are vaccinated are the ones that get earache, sinus congestion, asthma, allergic to shit. Yep. My kids don't have any shots or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And my kids don't have any of that. And of course, I'm completely vaccinated to the gills for whatever a 50-year-old man should have. Except,
right. And you and I are I'm 47. So when we were young and getting vaccinated,
you look good. You have nice skin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's awesome.
CrossFit and holistic nutrition.
I wonder if mountain living does that too.
Air's a little fresher up here.
That is true.
Yeah.
But our vaccine schedule was much different back then, Sevan. Like what the kids are getting hammered with these days is so much more than what you and I had to do. Like you probably had chicken pox. I know I did.
Right.
And we didn't get that,
They took us to the persons that we did chicken pox parties. Everyone went there and got it on purpose.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, it's just different. But one of our coaches has 4 kids, and her oldest was vaccinated just a couple of things when she was first born, and she ended up in the hospital. I don't remember the details of it. So she decided right then and there she was not vaccinating her anymore. And then the 3 kids afterwards, she didn't vaccinate. And none of her kids had any issues. Her oldest, once she got her through that, was fine. So it was like, okay, so she could see it. She actually physically saw what happened. And then one of my closest friends, who was also my nurse, her son was vaccine injured and he became, pretty autistic, and she nursed him back to he's basically a normal kid. He's 20 years old now. And she did it all through nutrition. She stopped all the vaccines. She just fed him appropriately. She had him exercised like with a priest. Like she did everything she possibly could.
Wow.
Yeah. And now he went from somebody who was, couldn't communicate. He was super autistic, and now you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. What book? Whenever people ask me what book I would recommend, they're like, "Hey, I got new kids. What should I get them vaccines?" I always recommend them this book called "Dissolving Illusions." It's the one my wife read. Is there one you recommend for parents?
No, I never did that. I didn't ever recommend books. I didn't read them. I just sort of went through and lived. Whatever happened. I grew up in a very large family too. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So for me, it was just, takes a village, and we all just raised each other's kids,
I used to think that if you didn't, that's the book. I used to think that if you didn't get your kids vaccinated, that you were like the person who's like, okay, everyone else is going to stop at stop signs, and so I don't need to, so I'll just blow through them. Like there was kind of like a holier than thou.
Yeah.
But then as I started looking at the numbers, and like for instance, polio, for example, if you look at the numbers of polio going away versus the release of the vaccine, polio was almost completely gone before the vaccine was even launched.
Yeah.
And it was a sanitation issue. And the same with measles. Measles is a really weird one. But the fact that so many kids get the vaccine and then they still get measles is bizarre to me. And the fact that so few kids died. And then people will respond with, well, what if you say there's so few kids who died? What if it would have been one of your kids? But what I'm saying is that the numbers are so low that you have to start wondering if it was even measles. I mean,
right.
Well, and also you got to think like you have the flu vaccine that's been around since the 70s, and most years it's only like 13% effective, right?
Yeah.
It's like
the only time I've ever gotten the flu, I've only had the flu once in my life, and it was the year I got the vaccine. I just happened to be in the doctor for something, and they gave me the shot, and I got so sick.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
100%.
And by the way, I'm not even suggesting that the flu vaccine compromised me or gave it to me. I'm just stating the facts. Like this is
absolutely.
Like, and I've thought, and the flu's bad for anyone who's never had it. Like I was tapping. That night I couldn't even make it to bed. I slept on the floor. My wife threw the blankets on me. I thought I was going to chip all the teeth out of my mouth. I thought I was dead. Yeah. It's horrible.
Flu is almost like I've had flu and I've had COVID. And for me, the flu was much worse.
Oh yeah.
Much worse.
They're not even kind of the same sickness, right? I think when I had COVID, I mean, I never tested positive for COVID, but everyone around me had it, so I assumed I had it. It's weird. It's a weird one. Like the brain, like I went to go drive, and I'm like, oh, I've never been so sick where I thought I shouldn't be driving. I'm like, something's not right with me. I probably shouldn't be driving my kids in the car. Like my brain wasn't right.
It definitely has a brain fog component
your brain
to it. 100%, and it lasts. That brain fog lasts takes a while to come out of it.
When I had it, I didn't really get sick. I had the chills for like a hot second, and then the rest of it was just fatigue and brain fog.
Yeah, that's the way mine was. Mine was just, I was an idiot for a little bit.
I lost my taste too, my smell and my taste, but that's it.
I usually tell people like some colloidal silver, or there's this stuff called zeolite. It's really just a heavy metal detox, but it can usually help kind of clear that out of your body, because COVID itself, very similar, is a spike protein. So, it gets in there, it hangs on, and you need to sort of find a way to get it out. These heavy metal detox help with that.
Did you guys exercise through COVID?
Yes.
Yep.
Still sweat every day?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. I do that for almost every sickness. I couldn't do it during the flu. A couple of days of the flu, I just couldn't.
I would just walk. Like, even
yes.
for me, I just take a walk to the end of my driveway and back. Just something, the fresh air, the movement. I always tell people, just go outside. I tell the patients that all the time. They look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, just go outside, go for a walk around your house 20 times. I don't care. You're going to feel better if you do that. Fresh air that's the other thing. Fresh air is a disinfectant, and we're telling people to put a mask on outside. Are you kidding me?
And stay home.
Yeah, that's a huge. It even says on the CDC website that this is a complete misunderstanding, and I think a lot of people have. They think the cold is somehow tied to the winter.
Yeah.
But it's not tied to the winter. The reason why the cold spreads so wildly in the winter is because it's cold outside and people spend time inside where viruses spread. If we spent that time inside during the summer, the cold would spread in the summer too. It has nothing to do with winter.
No.
Zero.
You know what it has to do with?
Donkeys.
Low vitamin D. Low vitamin D is huge. And especially here in the Northeast. And I tell my patients, I'm like, this is not yes, Trish. Sorry, excuse me. Yes.
We'll come back to that. Go finish that thought. I'll leave this up. Finish your thought about vitamin D, and then we'll come back.
So here in the Northeast, I tell my patients from like May to October, if you stand outside for 10 minutes a day, no sunblock, very anti-sunblock, your body will synthesize anywhere from 10,000 to 25,000 units of vitamin D. But from this time of year, October to May, here in the Northeast, you can stand outside naked all day long. Nothing is happening. Nothing. You have got to supplement with vitamin D. 10,000 units every day, as much as you possibly can remember.
Especially if you're dark-skinned, if you're melanated.
Yes, and I tell them
quadruple down on the sun.
Correct. The more melanin you have, the longer you have to be outside.
Okay.
Again, no sunblock. And I test all my patients for their vitamin D levels, and the amount of deficient people was astounding when I first got into practice. And I've corrected most of them. And every one of them tells me how much better they feel with their vitamin. It's something they weren't even thinking about. And now, I don't know, 500 people don't have a vitamin D deficiency anymore. That's a huge thing. It's not just about, not getting sick or your immune system. It's mental health too. Big time. But
what do you think about, my wife just showed me this, taking vitamin C that's, I think, from ascorbic acid versus vitamin C that comes from plants. So like my wife doesn't, all of a sudden we switched our any like vitamins we have in the house, that they only are vitamins now, I guess, that come from whole plants. I don't know how they do that, but
yeah,
do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree completely.
Instead of synthesizing the vitamins?
100%. I always tell my patients, I'm like, look, I can prescribe it for you, and you can go to the pharmacy and pick up the chemical version of what they have, or you can go over to the health food store and get the better version. And I show them the better versions. Most opt to go get the better version. Some can't afford it, and they have to. So you have to meet people where they are. But I agree 100% with your wife. In fact, we had bad colds back in December, and we were doing shots of lemon and lime as our vitamin C intake, like just literal shots of just doing that instead of taking synthetic vitamin C.
Caleb, you can come back and feel free to chime in. I just thought I would make us bigger. Trish, should someone heavy metal detox after COVID vax?
Yes.
What does that even mean? How would you do that?
IV therapy.
The best way is IV therapy. They have detox, IV therapy, heavy metal detox. It's expensive. I think it's somewhere around $3,000 for the whole series, but it's worth it. I recommend. I'm actually.
You really do think it's worth it, huh? That's quite the statement for $3,000.
Yep, it is. I don't, and that's what they charge. So part of what I want to do when I open my practice is I'm going to do what I call, like I said, open-minded care. So a lot of functional medicine meets conventional medicine, because there's a lot of people out there that need help and they can't afford it, but they have insurance. So I'm going to find a way to get them healthier and have insurance cover it. But IV therapies, you know, it doesn't need to cost $200 for an IV therapy. It can be much
more affordable.
Yeah, much more affordable for people, to the point where I would even be willing to do sliding scale for some people, right? There's just so many ways out there for people to feel better. Testosterone. We could do a whole shows on it. Low testosterone is making men sick. And literally sick. Men coming in feeling like garbage. I can't sleep. I have no energy. I'm like, they're losing, they have no libido. They're damn near divorced because they don't feel like men anymore. Why? Because some asshole decided that 300 was an acceptable level of testosterone. And so if you go get checked and your testosterone's at a 300, you can't get treated. Your insurance won't pay for it. The hell is that? So very much what California Hormones is doing, I'm going to offer that in my practice. I'm going to offer TRT because there's a lot, and not just, there'll be people doing it for performance, and that's their choice. But there are people.
That's totally their choice, by the way. I have no issue with that. Yeah.
Me either. It's like, it's your life. It's your body. I can help you.
Can't you just sweat and detox?
That's
like the hippie. I mean, can't I just exercise for an hour every day? Isn't sweating, like, I always just feel like sweating is just changing my fluids.
You can detox to a certain extent, like you're going to detox your daily detox, but some stuff is just stuck in there so badly that you need something more. Now, IV therapy is one way, but like I had said, colloidal silver is just oral, and you can investigate that a little bit. But it's a way to kind of clean your body out. There's a lot of different things out there. I don't know if maybe there you go. And it's really a really great way to boost your immune system and get a lot of crap. That's actually
I think we have that. I think my wife does that.
I feel like your wife probably does do that. Just from and so, there's a lot of different ways, and not everybody is the same, so I like to kind of talk to people, get their stories. Some people, they don't need that. Some people have parasites, that's a whole
yeah. Actually, what's crazy? My wife had some parasites like recently, not like worms or anything, but she went to some holistic doctor and he gave her a test, and it was something that was, God, I wish I could remember. She's going to kill me for bringing it up without knowing exactly what it was. It's not like she had like a 7-foot worm in her intestine or anything, but she had something.
Savan, there's 20,000 different types of parasites that you could get.
Yeah, like my kids. My kids are 3 of those.
Yeah. Well, conventional medicine only tests for like 400 or something. So like, that's the craziness of it all. So people will come in, they'll have all of these crazy symptoms. They'll, we'll do regular basic blood work. They'll go to GI. GI will say, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. They get prescribed the PPI, which is the worst possible thing you can do. And majority of the time, these people have some sort of parasite.
Wait. PPI, that's a kind of insurance?
No, PPI it's a proton pump inhibitor that is prescribed for people who have GERD or acid reflux or anything like that.
Oh.
And these drugs destroy your gut, your microbiome completely. But they are given out like candy in the conventional medicine world. I do not prescribe them. I prescribe my immediate reaction to my patients is let's get on a probiotic. And quite honestly, the best probiotic in the world is sauerkraut. 1 spoonful of sauerkraut daily.
Wow. I love sauerkraut.
Yeah, and that's what people say. Oh, I love sauerkraut. I said, then go buy yourself a nice jar of organic sauerkraut and keep it in your fridge and do a spoonful of that every day.
Why not just a pickle?
I don't think it's fermented enough. It's not.
Okay.
It's fermented food. So
it's similar to kombucha.
Right?
Similar process.
I always just think of sauerkraut's the stuff. It comes in that glass jar and it's white and it looks like worms, and you throw it on your hot dog. Yeah. That shit's awesome.
Yes.
And I always have that in my fridge. Yeah.
It
goes on anything. Actually, it's really underused. It should be just tossed on everything.
It should, and your gut will thank you as well.
But it just tastes like pickles that have been grated like cheese to me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. There's a spicier version of it called kimchi. That's another thing that you could do. And like I said, kombucha, tempeh. Tempeh is soy. Yeah, see, thank you, Mike. Tempeh is soy, and it's the only soy you should eat. Soy is horrible for you, but if it's fermented, then you can have it, and that would be the tempeh. And those are the fermented foods that I recommend to my patients. They're the ones who just get tired of taking a pill or something like that. I'm like, there's whole foods versions of everything if you want to do that, but you have to focus in. Everything's best if it comes from food, but it's almost impossible to get everything from food. So we got to do what we got to do.
How did you two meet?
CrossFit.
In an affiliate?
Yep.
And who approached who? What was the courtship process like?
You
approached her.
Yeah, kind of. Well, we were friends and stuff like that, and then she went through. She was with somebody, her significant other. They ended up splitting. I was with a significant other. We ended up splitting, and just came together.
Did you know even before you guys split up that there were sparks there?
I mean, there was definitely a mutual like, hey, I dig you, you dig me, cool. You know what I mean? And like, we were both in relationships that were not great to begin with. Definitely had some issues inside of it. And just like Glassman said, right, you're either going to get a new job, love your job, or get a new one, right? You're going to love your significant other better, or you're going to find a better one, right? So we just found better versions of what we were looking for. So
my wife was with another guy. And I was with the girl, but I didn't care. I was trying to hook up with her. And she was like, I'll never hook up with you as long as I have a boyfriend. And so I courted her for five years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
And then literally she told me, one day she's like, hey, I broke up with my boyfriend. And I literally just walked like 60 feet from where I was, and my girlfriend was there, and I broke up with her.
Nice.
Yeah, it was that's kind of savage, right? And I remember my girlfriend, I was like old. I was like 23 or 24. My girlfriend was this like hot 19-year-old blonde chick, and I broke up with her, and she's like, You're breaking up with me?
Yeah.
And I was looking at her, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Like,
yeah, that's how it's gonna go though.
But yes, I am. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Gotta love that.
I think for us, we sparked immediately as friends. We just got along very well. And we were friends for like a few years. And then
that's important. You think that's important? I think it was the 5-year courtship was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucked, but holy shit, it was a game changer.
Well, we weren't really courting each other. It was just enjoying each other's company, right? Like,
yeah. Well, my wife wasn't courting me either.
Yeah.
I was trying to pretend to enjoy it.
Yeah, it definitely. I think it helped. We get to know each other a little bit better.
And honestly, I mean, I'm 13 years older than him, right?
No shit.
Yeah. Wow. So, for me, it was always just like, he was my coach and my friend. And like, I didn't think anything of it. Wouldn't have even dreamed in my skull that he would have been attracted to me. It just didn't even dawn on me, honestly. And then, my ex-husband and I split up, and, we went on a date.
Yep.
And that was it.
Hey, weren't you like when you? Sorry, Leon. You could use the bathroom or something if you want. Weren't you like after you and your husband broke up, like, fuck that, I'm gonna be a monk? Like the thought, if I sometimes will fantasize that like my wife died or leaves me, and I'm like, I'm never fucking like that version of me. The thought of starting a new relationship makes me want to fucking vomit. How did you do that?
She says that now about us. Like, hey, if I ever leave you, like, I'm gonna fucking be by myself.
Yeah,
I'd be a fucking monk. Yeah. If my wife left me, I would be toast.
I didn't feel that way. I guess
it seems exhausting, right? Just like, what, really?
Yeah.
I have to work my way of shitting with the door open with someone else again? No fucking way.
It's so funny that you say that, because I felt like we got very comfortable with each other very quickly. And it might have been because we were comfortable with each other in general, because it did not take long for all of that little stuff to just be okay.
Yeah. Our relationship was tried and true very, very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Yeah. People didn't like us together.
Yeah. It was definitely a tough, like, if we could make it through the first, year or two of it, we were basically like, hey, we can make it through anything now. So lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of people. So
no shit. There were people that adamant against it.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The age difference for one, people blamed him for why my husband and I split up. People blamed me for why him and his significant other split up. whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
everybody's got a viewpoint, right? Like people can see, from the outside looking in, it looks like this. But, when you actually dig a little bit deeper, it's like neither one of us were happy. You know what I mean? Neither one of us were thrilled in our other relationships. And I'll be honest with you, as soon as she walked in the door at the gym that I was coaching at, like I was immediately like attracted to her. She has amazing eyes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh shit, what's this? And she came in with her like yoga pants, with the bell bottom yoga pants and like a bandana on her head. I'm like, oh, you don't know what the hell you're getting yourself into here. This is going to be fun. And it was just like the humor and like the easiness of how we could communicate to one another was pretty good, right? So when you have that immediate reaction, it's like almost like that love at first sight thing. But we were both with somebody else, and it just developed more and more as we kind of went through this. And it was very easy to transition for us, but the rest of the world didn't transition very well with us.
How long have you guys been together?
Going on 7 years.
Are you married?
No.
Nope.
No. You think you will get married?
Yeah, probably eventually.
Yep.
My wife and I didn't get married either for till we had, she was pregnant with our twins.
Okay.
And then I started getting concerned that if one of us died, that it would get complicated for the other one. But then once I got married, have you ever been married, Leon?
No. Nope.
But you have, Kristen, right? You were married?
Yes.
Yeah. Then I got married to my wife and we did it in the courthouse, but I really like being married now. Like, I didn't think I would like it. I thought it was just like bullshit government stuff, but I really like having a wife.
That's exactly how she feels about it.
Yeah.
So I did it already, right? And
right.
Now I don't want to be like, it's not like I had a horrible marriage. I didn't. It just towards the end, we just grew apart and we had different interests and what have you. And then my divorce was not good. I had a horrible.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. And so it was, for me, it's just like, ugh. And then it was so complicated. And I'm like, why does love have to be so complicated? Falling in and out of it. And then again, the government has to be involved. And then you have to pay lawyers.
Yeah.
Just like,
why? I think if my wife divorced me, I would just run away. I would like just leave everything I own and just fucking get on a plane and fly to a different country and start over. That sounds like him. I would never want to fight with over that shit because it would kill me. Not that I love money and I would want all the shit, but I'd die.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Agreed.
Nope.
Agreed.
I'm the same way.
Lululemon breaks marriages. When my wife and I bought our first house, we weren't married, and I just kept everything in her. We kept everything in her name. She did all the adult stuff, and then we bought our second house, same thing. And people thought I was fucking crazy. I'm like, look, dude, I hear you, but like if she leaves me or something, fuck it, I'll start.
Then
over.
You have no responsibility.
I'm running.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you guys know how to run your gym? The business side of it.
Interestingly enough, I have a few master's degrees. Prior to becoming a nurse practitioner, I was administrative healthcare, but master's in health administration. But I mean, running a business is running a business. I ran 7 very large departments in a hospital for a very long time. So I know how to run a business, and running the business of healthcare is quite complicated. So running an affiliate is just a way dialed down version of that. And it's different, but the same, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So just my experience coupled with our experience together and relying on other people, asking questions, great friends who, we had great friends who are lawyers, great friends with business savvy, and they helped us. They wanted to see us succeed. Do you guys have that? Do you do all that, Kristen? Do you do all is there one of you that does all the paperwork, like the negotiations with the landlord and pays all the bills and like? So your coaches have insurance or whatever. That was mostly me, but now we've built this team. So on top of us, we have Mairead, and then we have now we have one of our other members. Her name is Rachel, and she's sort of our CFO. She's an accountant. She handles all of that now. She pays the bills. Because of having 2 locations, she monitors everything, and we sort of let her have that.
What about building a gym and then selling it? Do either Leon or Kristen, do either of you guys ever think about that? Because part of me, like, we had Chris Cooper on the other day, and he kind of mentioned that. And part of that kind of gutted me a little bit when I heard that. Like I felt like, oh shit, build a community and then sell it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know, maybe sell it to a member, like build it and then sell a turnkey gym to you know what I mean?
So the thought process with that is, like I said earlier, like how we're creating opportunity for coaches and stuff like that. So if we were to ever do it, we have like the GM, right? The general manager of each gym. And I've had these discussions with them. Like basically this would become yours, right? Like this is your opportunity to now have this business. And I'm just going to, step away, or we are going to step away and this would be yours. Now that's not the goal, but that is the escape plan if you ever needed it, right? Like, hey, we built this, it's your business. You're the one that's in it. Like the woman that we were talking about earlier, Mairead, who runs the Sheffield location, like that's her gym. That's not my gym. Like, yeah, technically it's my name's on it, our name's on it. But at the end of the day, she's the one that puts in the hours. She's the one that has the one-on-one interactions with the members. I even tell the members, like, don't talk to me unless like you absolutely need to talk to me, right? Like Mairead is the person that you should be talking to because this is her gym. We have another gentleman that just came on board, the coach that Kristen was talking about earlier, who he's looking for growth opportunity. That was one of the reasons why he came to us, because he kind of hit the ceiling at the gym that he was at. And I am all about opening up more gyms, right? I want to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, keep going, right? And the opportunity for him is that, hey, when we get this going a little bit more, we're going to find a location that you want to be in, and then we're going to open up a gym there, and that's going to be your gym. It's very Jason Khalipa esque, right? Like you open up a gym to support a coach, not because you want to open up another gym, right? So that's the whole thought process behind that. Like open up these things, create an empire, and then it's still Lumberjack Athletics, right? It never changes. It just becomes theirs and no longer ours.
And I think the other thing is there's a lot of people out there that they want to open an affiliate. They want to do it. They just don't know how. They don't know where to begin. So we do. We've done it twice. It's kind of like we could almost do it for them, but we'll do it for ourselves, put you in charge. Now you have a gym, but you will keep you in the loop. You'll know how to do it, but we're still here as sort of like, your support system, if you will.
It's amazing how much people don't realize the value of that too, by the way. I know you guys are speaking about it being pretty humbly. People shouldn't forget that, what you've done. So people, when people use your experience, Kristen and Leon's experience, they aren't just like using your time. They're leveraging your 5 years of previous experience. And I was talking to my kid skateboarding coach the other day. He charges $100 an hour, one of them. And people don't realize, like, you're not buying that you're not buying that hour.
No.
What you're buying is that 20 years of skateboarding experience brought to that 1 hour. It's like someone the other day said, "Hey, were you going to pay this person to come on your podcast?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I have fucking 20 years of interview fucking experience and 15 years of CrossFit relationships that I'm leveraging to bring to every show." Yeah. And you fucking pay me to be on my show, you ding dong. I was like, yeah. I'm all for supporting people, though. Don't get me wrong. Like if someone wants to come on here and like what Taylor Self did, right? He come. I don't know if you guys watch those shows, but I do this show with. Okay, and he's like, hey, can I make a commercial to promote my SMTP training? I was like, dude, I fucking love that.
Yeah,
I'll run that all day for you for free.
Yeah,
like I'm all for supporting people, but don't charge me to come on here and talk about game shit. Like fuck you.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I won't do game shows then.
Quite honestly, I feel like people should pay you to be on your show.
Oh, good, thank you. Me too.
Like 100%. And it's funny too. Like
Caleb. Caleb, we're even. Oh, Caleb, I hope we become rich and I can pay you fucking what you're worth too. God, you're so awesome. Trish, Leon is a name. Oh, go ahead, say this, and then we'll get to Leon being a black man.
No, I said I didn't even dream of that we would get on the show. Like when I reached out to Matt, I'm like, I'm just going to take my chances here and see if we can get on there. And sure as shit, he got back to me, and I was like, well, this was like So awesome.
I wonder how that worked too, because I kind of have a policy that the people, anyone who wants to be on is usually like a fuck up. I mean, this is not a fuck up, but I'm like, what? Hey, dude, if anyone wants to be on, just those are the people we don't want. How did that work out? What did you say to him?
Well, there was what's his name from the Make WODs Great Again guy was talking about
the John Woolley guy, the bald guy.
Yeah. Talking about
huge fan of the show.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think that's what piqued Matt's interest, because he had posted something about opening a doctor being an affiliate, or his affiliate that he just bought or something, and I sent that to Matt, and I was like, if this fucking guy can talk about it, like let us on the show, because I'm about to do the same thing in a gym that doesn't cater to that kind of nonsense. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, right. Oh, so this was a long time ago.
Yeah. We've been talking for probably towards the end of December. Not too bad, but I didn't assume it was going to be like tomorrow. Like, you're busy. Every 2 seconds you're doing a podcast.
I am. Although yesterday I missed one, broke my heart. Leon is the name for a 6'5" black man who sells barbecue in the American South.
And yet here I am. Yeah, a lot of high school parents used to be like, "Who's Leon? What's he doing? Why do we know this guy?" Yeah, get that a lot.
Really? Is Leon a black guy's name?
Apparently.
Typically, yeah. If you look it up, like,
or either your parents black?
Nope.
No.
My father is Irish and Native American, and my mother is Portuguese and Native American.
Wow. Caleb, will you Google Leon and hit images and see if black dudes pop up?
Leon Sphinx.
I remember him. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yep.
That's the only Leon I can think of that captain of the basketball team. Jeez, Trish, you're full of it today.
He is.
I promise you I'm not the captain of a basketball team.
There we go.
Okay, so
Leon the Lion.
We're about 50-50.
Yeah. It's a French name too. It's a very French name.
Leon.
Well.
Oh, Leon.
Leon.
Oh, isn't the guy fighting isn't the champ who in the welterweight division in the UFC, that's Leon.
Yep.
Or is that his last name? What's his first name?
I don't know his name, but it's something Leon. Yep.
Leon Edwards.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because Edward is my middle name.
There you go.
Oh, what a trip.
Yeah.
So you're running these 2 gyms, and this other gym, how long before it breaks even? Is it stressing you guys out? Open a second gym?
No, we did it. So the second gym took a lot longer to get going than we anticipated. We actually started this journey about a year ago, and it was just kind of being, again, through COVID, nothing was getting done that should have been getting done. We had a location that was going to go through, and then we couldn't get plumbers to come in because there was just all this backup because people were like just finally getting back into the world. So we couldn't get people to put a bathroom in the spot. So eventually we went to a spot that was being completely built. So it was brand new, didn't exist, and now it does. So that took some time too. But while we were doing that, we were collecting like first month memberships, right? Like, so, you pay your first month and that'll help us get the business going. So a lot of people took care of that. I think we had like 30 plus people that did that. And then as soon as we opened up, they had a community of 120 people. So they were all ready to rock and roll. Now, is it picking up the way that we would like? It could be a little bit better. But again, we're only a month and a half in, and I think that we have probably like 30 to 40 members already, somewhere in there. So
it's a weird thing, right? Because everyone's first CrossFit gym is their best, right? It's like the first time you do coke. like it's never better than that. And obviously, but then once you're around long enough, you realize it can be better. But a lot of those people, I bet you, it's a nostalgic. You're kind of stepping in. It's a nostalgic thing for people, and it's very personal. So.
Yeah. And we do things differently than their old community, right? So like our community isn't exactly like the one that they came from, right? We do things differently. I'm a very different guy compared to the original owner that the gym is over there. So is the current GM over there. She's from that community originally, so that's cool. They kind of have a familiarity with that. So yeah, I would assume that there's a little bit of a like, well, this isn't like home. But, it's like when you move houses, right? Like, oh, this isn't home, but it is home now. So you just got to get used to it, right? So I think there's that adjustment period where people are like trying to figure it out. But I've gotten nothing. Every time I walk over there and hear from these people, everyone's like, "We're so grateful that you did this. Thank you very much. It was worth the wait. We're very happy. We love the programming." I got a message the other day from one of my athletes, like, I can see the methods. I do all the programming. I have my own competitive program, similar to Taylor Self.
What's it called?
Jack Nation Training Systems.
Good name.
Yeah, thanks. So like I bring that into the community. So all of our coaches follow that because most of our coaches are competitive athletes. Mairead and this coach Nolan is going to be going for a team in semifinals. So they all, hey, there's Hannah right there. Hey, there we go. That's one of our girls. So they are, everybody gets to kind of have a taste of that competitive programming and like they really enjoy it, right? Because like our coaches can jump in and do it with them, right? So it's just cool how welcoming and cool and adaptable these people are being to something that's new. So
that was that's your coach, right, Hannah?
No, that's just one of our athletes.
One of our athletes.
That's one of our athletes.
Hannah.
Eternally grateful to Lumberjack for coming to town. Sorry, say that again.
She was a big part of the gym getting open. She came in when we were building the space out, like when we were finally able to get in there, and she would help us like clean up, do things. Like she was very much involved with it. And yeah, solid human being. Right.
I want to ask you about homeschooling classes in 1 second. But first, let's talk about this. I just rewatched Hiller doing 500 burpees, still better than Craig Ritchie. Did you, Andrew Hiller yesterday? I just turned on my phone and YouTube. He was live on YouTube, and he did 500 burpees in 38 minutes and 14 seconds live, weighing over 200 pounds. I'm kind of like blown away by that. Should I be? That's fast, right? That's insane, right?
So back in the day, Miko Salo did 1,000 burpees in like under an hour.
No shit.
Yeah, he was fucked up for like a week, but
yeah, I remember I think interviewing him afterwards, and he said that's bad programming. I go, you would never do it again. He goes, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't recommend it. So I thought yesterday about doing 500. I don't even know if I could do 550 minutes, and I love burpees, but 38:14 is nuts, right?
It's moving. Yeah, it's definitely moving.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, he's big. He's 20 pounds bigger than Miko, right?
I would assume. I think Miko at his heaviest was like a 175 or to 180. So he's got at least.
So maybe 30 pounds even bigger.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. Miko's a freaking savage too, right?
Right.
The guy that would like wrestle a bear and go run through the woods and like 5 in the morning after jumping in a fucking frozen pond. So I mean, yeah, that's a gnarly dude to compare somebody to.
Don't tell her that. I won't, but I just keep thinking about it. I've told like 10 people. Like,
I could be wrong with that number too. I'm pretty sure it was under an hour though that he did it.
Yeah, I believe. I'm sure it was fast. I just can't believe Hiller did it in 38:14. It's nuts.
And does Hiller train like that? Like, does he?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But
right? So.
and he's crazy. He's got the switch, right? Like one time on the show, we were just live, and he said, "Hey, you want to see me do 100 burpees or 100 pull-ups unbroken?" And I can't remember what he got. Or no, he's all, "You want to see me do you want to see me do pull-ups for 90 seconds and not come off the bar?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." He's like, "I'll do it," basically. And he went and did it, and I forget, he got to like 69 and like his hand ripped off or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like, and he had to get, and he got down just for a little bit and then got back on.
Yeah.
But it was like, dude, you ripped your hand off. Or another time, he just did heavy grace cold in the middle of a live show.
I saw that one.
It's just something's wrong with the guy.
He's highly entertaining.
Yes.
Highly entertaining.
Well, he's also, so I knew of Hiller before he was Hiller.
Yeah.
I was at the same time that he was a competitive athlete in CrossFit, so was I. So I've always heard about him through the regionals and stuff like that. And he was no joke. He's a fit dude. You know, I've seen him do like 100.
Although he had his ass handed to him at the gauntlet, he fell apart at Wadapalooza. Yeah, like there were like. I mean, again, does the guy even train though? Like, I don't think he really trains much anymore, does he? I know his elbow's jacked up, stuff like that. He has like just 3 minutes of good loving in him and he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I thought that, I was actually thinking that. I'm like, okay, this guy's just a fucking, just a football player, just a linebacker or a running back kind of explosiveness. But that burpee thing is like having me have to rethink him.
It's mental fortitude, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to suffer. And we're built to suffer. And if you tap into that, you can do anything, right? That's kind of what humans are made for. So if you have
Sousa said it was one, I haven't seen it yet. He said it's one steady pace and it's always jump forward. He doesn't even step forward.
Oh, good for him. Oof.
Look at this. Are you kidding me? Juliet, shoot. I've done 537 minutes, but I'm small. It doesn't. Yeah, but it's crazy.
Still.
If you have an engine, and like she just said, if you're a small person with an engine, you probably could do that pretty well. There it is, right there.
Oh, hour 22.
Hour
All right.
22.
Still nuts.
Still, yeah, it's still ridiculous.
I'm not doing them anytime. Like, I love burpees, but I'm not going to do 500 or 1,000 of them just to do it. I just don't feel like I need to do that.
I think I would probably hurt myself.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely going to be feeling it. Yeah. The rhabdo is real with that, I'm sure.
I mean, I do 100 probably at minimum one time a week, minimum. But I'm good at 100. I'm like a sweaty mess. I feel great. 200 occasionally I'll do, never over 200. What? Say that again?
Bar facing burpees are better. I just find them more fun. I don't know why.
You probably like the discipline of them.
You think that's it? He used to make us warm up with that.
Yeah, I used to do like 40 bar facing burpees for time, 50 for time.
Yeah.
For time, you're going to be warm, right?
For sure.
Warm. Everything's warm at that point. So
we had this affiliate owner on the other day, Javier Jaime, and he uses his gym. He was doing his wife was doing a boot camp in the garage, and his kids were training CrossFit for football in the garage, and then he was training his garage. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to open a gym." Like, I have people in my garage 3 times a day, and I think he belongs to a large homeschooling community.
Oh,
Christian dude.
I love that.
And so it sounds like every morning at 9 or 10 a.m. he's got this thing going in his gym where it's like basically a PE class for homeschooled kids.
That's awesome.
And I was thinking, like, God, why doesn't every CrossFit gym utilize their midday? Like, it seems just like a great opportunity, and people will pay a lot of money for their kids to do that stuff.
So we actually have a kid who she is a senior in high school, and she'll come in and she actually does her gym class in our gym. Like, it counts as her gym class. So she'll come in the morning. I think it's actually the only thing that she has going on that day for that day. So she'll come in the morning, she'll do it, and it counts as her going to the gym or going to the school for PE. Pretty cool.
There's this I'm just completely talking out of my ass right now, but there's this, basically my kids are homeschooled and we do it through some public program, and so our kids get money from the state for doing it, right? And then basically what you have to do is you have to let someone from the state come and snoop around in your shit like every 20 days, right? But the person we got's really cool. But that money that they give you can only be used with certain vendors, which is cool. But there's 2 million more homeschool kids this year than in the United States than there were 2 years ago.
And it will grow.
It's going to keep going too, and especially now that they just put the COVID vaccine on the schedule. Now I'm sure you're going to see that a lot. Right,
and so I'm thinking, if you think about that, that's it just for easy math. If there's 2 million more homeschooled kids, and if each of them were to use that money that they get allocated from the state to get a CrossFit membership to do their PE class, those CrossFit gyms would have to get like confirmed or validated, but I don't think it's a hard process. That's 2 million, that's 20 million, that's 200 million more dollars that could theoretically, I know it's a pie in the sky, be pumped into the CrossFit affiliate ecosystem.
That's actually a brilliant idea.
It's actually a great idea. Yeah, it's a really cool idea.
And the coach that I was telling you about, her kids are homeschooled. Like, that would actually be something really great for her. And like I said, we have that population in our community. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
like, hey, but hey, bring your kid here. And I don't know. For parents, a lot of parents who work, dropping your kid off somewhere for an hour doesn't necessarily work. So maybe, because it's too short, you can't do anything. So maybe it's maybe for some reason this is 2 hours.
We had tried this we tried this pre-COVID, so maybe it's different. We wanted to do something like a CrossFit daycare type of situation. Right. We had that open time, and like parents drop them off. They'll work out. We'll teach them about nutrition. They'll have lunch with us, type of thing. So it'd be like
cooking and CrossFit would be awesome. And by cooking, I mean just fucking cutting up some apples.
Yeah, just showing
right?
them quality. What is quality food? You know, and he was doing a CrossFit Teens class for a while, and that's what he would do with them. Like every day, they'd do the the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. He would teach them stuff like that. They'd go home, they'd have homework they'd have to do, and they'd brought it back, and he'd get them gift cards to like things that they would like, Visa gift cards, stuff like that. They did
weigh your food, dude. Yes. You could do a whole half hour just on weighing apples, bananas, steak, just whatever, and just show them grams, protein, carbs, max.
Well, you'd be surprised how much kids really don't know, right? I started off.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known any of that.
Yeah, I started super basic with them, and I was like, "Hey guys, what's a healthy fat?" And they were just like, "Steak." I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure, but that's not, avocado, nuts, seeds, like what are bad things, vegetable oil, stuff like that." And they had no idea. They had no freaking clue. They didn't realize, I would bring some stuff in and I would show them how much sugar is and stuff. And they were just like, "Oh, we had no idea." It was like in everything, And then it was actually funny because parents were like, "Hey man, you're kind of killing me with this grocery list now. All of a sudden, like my kid's checking everything and like making sure like it doesn't have this in it and that in it and all that stuff." And they learned a lot, but it's just so sad that like you go through 12 years of school and you don't know that. Like how is that, right? That's terrible. And that just goes back to Glassman. And like, if we just took a fraction of what he teaches us and brought that into like some type of educational platform, we wouldn't have half the shit that we have going on with kids, right? The mental disorders, the obesity, just all the stuff that we have going on, that it's like so easily, like the journal, right? It's such a bad thing that the journal was taken away from us, because there's just so much information there that like you already have these educators that this is their job, right? Teach them, give them this information.
Teach them.
Yeah, give them this information so they can fix the problems. But that's, there's no money in that, right? Like there's nothing for that.
Trish, I was hoping CrossFit had the lobbyists to keep the gyms open during the pandemic. That didn't happen. I doubt they have the people to take on the education system. Here's the thing. Now there's so many homeschooled kids. You can just start there. There's so many. And what the problem is that Eric Rosa was basically just a shill. And I'm going to say this is not going to be nice, but he's a tool, and he thought he was going to work with the government. And that's the exact opposite. Greg would never work with the government. It's two middle fingers up to the government.
When I saw him starting to work with like Chuck Schumer and stuff like that, I was like, this is bad. This isn't going to go well. So,
Sevan, like the vest. If you see me ever wearing a vest, it's because I feel fat. I only wear vests to cover like my man boobs and like the way a shirt hangs around it's the truth. I'm just telling you. The vest is like a security blanket for me. Why is this second gym you have affiliated?
Not yet.
Will you affiliate it?
That's the question.
When we first opened up, they didn't really do a whole, like they're doing a lot of great things now with how like they're giving all the information on how to run an affiliate and all that stuff. So that's great. But, I didn't have that opportunity when I opened up. It was like, hey, give me your $3,000 and now you get to go figure it out on your own. Right. So I don't know how much that bad taste still sits in my mouth. I'll give you this. CrossFit has been very cool with us through the pandemic. There was times where, hey man, this is getting rough. Even right now, technically my L1 or my L2 has been expired, but because we've been focusing so much on rebuilding the gyms, they've given me so many extensions to keep my L2. I mean, it might just be because they want my $3,000 at the end of the year, but they have been very.
The affiliate team in general has been pretty good. I mean, I've been always pretty happy. I think. They're pretty flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool with a lot of things, man. They do the best that they can to help us out.
Although it was a huge mistake to get rid of the dude, Gary Gaines. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that
that was a good dude. That was a Kool-Aid drinker.
Yeah,
that was like that guy. That guy was a weirdo like us. Like he lived for CrossFit.
Yeah, I know of Gary pretty extensively just because of you talking about him over the years and just knowing CrossFit. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2011, so I've been in it for a while. There's a lot.
I hope the story comes out of how he got what happened to him at some point because it's not cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not,
It's not cool.
It's a lot of things. Like, I mean, even look at what happened to Dave. That wasn't cool, right?
No.
None of that was cool. And I'm a Dave Castro fan. I have been since the beginning. I never thought that guy was anything but who he is, and I appreciate that.
Right.
So
he's got a little autism. And what's funny is that anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
He is just
who he is. You're right. He's just who he is.
Yeah.
It's like not liking him is like,
and he
it's
never
like, that's okay if you don't like sauerkraut, but like it's
Right.
just sauerkraut. It's
Yeah.
just what it is. Yeah.
And if you don't like that personality, then okay, don't deal with it.
But it's not like he's fake. Yeah.
No, exactly.
Gosh,
no. Yeah.
I was, and don't get me wrong, like I love Bosman. I followed him for a long time. But
Great
I was very sad to see Dave kind of have to step out of that role too, because Dave and I have a very similar thought process to programming. Actually, one of our coaches always says, like, hey, man, you always somehow predict what's coming up. It's like, well, because I've learned from this guy, right? This guy taught me CrossFit, right? Everything I know is from him. He's he was the education guy for a long time with Nicole. He's the games guy for ever, right? He started it, the whole thing. So it's like, I've learned how to do this because of him, right? So
Adrian impressed me though. I mean, I don't know. I thought the games was pretty fucking amazing. I thought he killed it. Do you think he killed it?
Absolutely.
I don't agree with that. I think there were some highlights. Like I love the Capital workout. That Capital workout was like
fantastic.
That was just war. That was just war. And I love that. I didn't like the double under thing. I'm sure you've heard that. Like the jump thing. That was stupid.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it. I didn't like the idea of the fact that like if you trip, you have to go back to zero. Like that's not a skill, right? That's not something that we preach in CrossFit. Yeah, you could say.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. You mean the premium put on execute, like being punished? It felt.
We're racing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and here's the deal, right? Like the 10 general physical skills.
It feels more like gymnastics than like if your toes not pointed, you get docked points. And like, I'm like, come on, man. Like he did a triple backflip. He didn't point his toes and you're docking him points. It's like,
and then you got guys like Brent Fikowski in the back who are just ripping these things out, who probably would have murdered that. But because he had one trip up, he didn't get a chance to show it. So we didn't get to see the fittest people really do what they could do. Right.
Right.
So that was a little bit of.
Were you glad Justin won? I was stoked Justin won.
Yeah, I'm a huge Medeiros fan.
Me too.
I'm a dynasty guy. So, Matt, Rich, all those guys.
Yeah, me too.
I love dynasties. I don't know, it was pretty cool to see Roman actually show up and do his thing. And, if it was
why do we like that? He's a fucking Russian. Shouldn't we hate him? Why are we all in love with him? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us?
Russia.
We love this underdog shit. I love. He's
not really an underdog, honestly. He's just.
Well, you know what I mean. He's just coming from. He's supposed to. I mean, like we don't do the truth is we don't do like the Rocky IV shit in this country. Like we really love foreigners in this country.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We want to see people come here and get their.
Well, that's what we're based off of, right?
Yeah,
us. We're all technically immigrants, right? Like, not me really, because most of my family's Native American, but
yeah. Speaking of reparations, send your check to. We on that.
I'm good. I don't need it. Thank you.
Okay.
Send it to somebody else. But yeah, like a lot of cool things came from the games. I enjoyed watching it. We're usually out there, but we weren't there this year. I'm very happy they're keeping it in Madison for another 2 years, so we get an opportunity to go back out. But yeah, I think that Adrian is a good fit. He's just not Dave. So,
do you think you'll keep? Two things. What are your plans to get your coaching shit like in order? And then like, will you do the L3? Will you do the L2 again? Will you do the L1?
So,
and do you think you're gonna, what value is there to, affiliate? Like,
all right. So,
why even keep the current affiliation? I'm hearing that people like it because of Google.
I mean, yeah, it does bring a lot of attention. You Google CrossFit in your area and you're going to pop right up, right? So there is that. For me to talk about the L1 and L2 stuff, they've given me an extension till March. So they're giving me the opportunity to take the L1 online, and that will revalidate my L2. I am going to get my L3 just for the simple fact of once I get my L3, unless they've changed this, I won't have to do it again, right? I'll just have to keep CEUs. So I like that. Because again, I've been doing this stuff for 13 years. Like I've got the CrossFit methodology down. You know what I mean? Like and I'm not a test taker either. I fucking hate taking tests.
Me too.
I would literally rather sit in a room with Nicole Carroll and have her judge me on my performance as a coach in person than take a test.
I'd rather just sit in a room with Nicole Carroll.
Me too. I love Nicole Carroll.
And as far as the affiliate stuff goes, I'm loyal to a fault, probably. So CrossFit gave me a lot. Gave me my significant other. It's given me my life that I have. It's given me my health and my fitness. It's given me a lot of the friendships that I have. So without that, I wouldn't be the guy that I am today. So I would like to affiliate. I would like to see them do something different with like, hey, you have multiple affiliations like underneath your umbrella. Maybe not every one of them has to be $3,000, right? Like I was listening to that podcast that you did with Greg's girl, Emily, if I'm not mistaken. And like that dude was just like handing out affiliate fees for free, basically, because it did great for his business, right? It's growing his thing, right? So I think that at a certain point, it's like, hey guys, like we got to start taking some of this down. If I open up 5 gyms, I'm going to be paying you guys $15,000 a year. That's aggressive.
You know what Greg told me the other day? We were talking, and he said if I were to do it again, I would double the affiliate fee. I would have doubled the affiliate fees. And I go, how come? He goes, to slow down the growth. And he said he would have weeded out all the woke folk. He would have made it so you just can't be woke. You can't be a gym. I mean, you go to the gym.
Yeah.
You just can't own one.
Yeah. But here's the thing. A lot of those woke people have a lot of the money, right? Like a lot of those people are like the well endowed. They have like they're a little bit more they have a little bit more than the money.
They're definitely not well endowed.
We don't know that.
Well,
no, they're not.
But I mean, a lot of that money, those type of people have the wealth too, so I don't know if that would have stopped them. Right.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I think too, CrossFit does offer a lot of resources and tools and stuff like that. More so now. I don't think we utilize them to our full advantage. I've looked through them. They definitely they want their affiliates to have access to a lot of things. I see it. Like they are constantly trying to get their affiliates to do more, to have more, to be more. So I agree with, I think, I have moments where I'm just like, why are we paying this affiliate fee, blah, blah, blah. But it's just a moment of irritation. They have really been very good to us. So I think that the overall plan will be to affiliate in mass.
Yeah, once we get to a point where it's like, hey, that makes sense for us to do that, we will.
Financially.
And honestly, too.
Why? If it like you took the L1, you paid for that. You took the L2, you paid for that. You're going to take the L3 and pay for that. And by the way, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about any of the seminars, really. I think the only person I can ever say anything bad, I remember Matt Fraser said he didn't like the L1 because he got into an ego conflict with one of the trainers. I think he might be the only person I've ever heard poo-poo the L1. But that being said, but why pay your affiliate fees? You already took the class. You got it. You have the name Lumberjack. Like, why pay this? Is that the loyalty to a fault thing?
Well, probably. Yeah, probably.
And let me put this question on there too. And if that is the case, that seems to be the answer I get from every single fucking affiliate I ask this to, that it's basically either the Google search or it's just the fact that, hey, I have values and morals and I'm not going to steal. Like they feel like that there's this stealing component, which there really isn't. Yes. But then, so if you run CrossFit,
the methodology is Greg's, right? It's like I can sit there and say, hey, we're not going to call this a burpee. We're going to call it a squat thrust. And we're not going to call this a thruster. We're going to call it a squat to press. That's still his thought process, right? Fran was developed in his garage because he wanted to become a better gymnast, right? So it is his. He owns it. Now we could steal it, but it's just not, that's not my thing. I wouldn't do that, right? That's not something I want to be a part of. And plus, there's a heritage, there's like a thing behind it, right? Like when you think of CrossFit, you have Michael Murphy, right? You have that's tied to our community. We have the 5 buckets of death, right? There's so many things that come into it that make CrossFit. It's not just a workout program. There's so many different things that it's like, I want to be a part of that. I definitely want to be involved. And my goal is to get as deep into CrossFit as I possibly can. That's why one of the reasons we are so interested in coming onto this podcast, because you're, how deeply rooted are you into it, right? And if it opens up another door we can get more involved in CrossFit, then absolutely, because we believe in it.
Or it might shut some doors. It might shut some doors for you.
Well, if it shuts doors that we don't care. If it shuts doors that those aren't doors we want to walk through.
Yeah.
So my question is, I wonder, knowing that this payment that affiliates pay is a brand loyalty payment, those were kind of Greg's words more than mine. It's kind of like, hey, you just want to be a part of the Sierra Club because you want to save trees, even though they don't really do that. I wonder how they should lead, how that should affect. How do you find a leader? Like all of these people who lead, they're like Harvard MBAs or Stanford MBAs, or they think that they're leading something that's totally different than what they're really leading. Yeah. They're leading something that people are already loyal to. I wonder how that changes. It's so much more the church model, right?
Yeah. I think the right thing that they did was put somebody like Don.
I agree.
It's funny, actually. Don's cousin comes to our gym. As soon as it was like she lost her mind as soon as she found out that was him. And he comes from like a pretty normal upbringing, right? Like he grew up in Jersey, went to the military. He got involved with a couple of companies that I don't necessarily think are great companies, but he left that and now is a part of this. And he has a similar idea and background like Dave did.
He's not afraid of hard work, that's for sure.
Exactly, right? And that's what we're based off of, right? It's based off of hard work. You know, you're going to get what you put into this, right? You come in and you give the relative intensity each day in the gym, you're going to see the results, right? So I think that though there is like that background group of like Harvard, you know, whatevers and stuff like that, they're not the heart of this, right?
No, and they end up leaving anyway. None of those people survive at CrossFit.
They can't figure it out. They don't get like, oh, well, this doesn't work like Nike, or this doesn't work like Orange Theory. It's like, well, because it's not. That's why. It's like, this is grassroots. We're going to come in every day. We're going to do our best. We're going to, you know, work hard at everything that we do, which will translate to everything else outside of the gym. And your life is going to get better. And no matter how much you do that in any other you know, gym setting, like it's just not the same, right? Like, because the methodology is CrossFit, and that's why it works.
If someone wanted to open a gym, is there any? Would you try to talk them out of it, or would you talk them into it? What would you ask them to kind of? Is there a litmus test question you'd ask them?
Are you, well, you know, yeah. How dedicated are you, right? Are you going to go in full tilt? Because having a part-time job or a full-time job and running a gym, it doesn't work well, right? It's kind of, unless you have somebody who you can put, and maybe you're the bankroller of it all, and you have somebody who can run it for you. Yeah. And why do you want to do it? Is it because you just want to be a coach and you want to have more opportunities to coach? I think it was Jason Khalipa that said that recently. It's like, you got to be a business person, right? First, because that's what's going to get you the longevity, right? If you're somebody who's like, well, I'm a coach and I just want to be able to coach more and not focus on the back end business stuff, you're not going to be successful. So, and that's a whole different thing. Like, I wasn't necessarily prepared for that. The guy that I actually worked for beforehand, before I opened up the gym, told me straight up, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's for you, because you are a great coach, but I don't know if you have the background knowledge that you're going to need to run a gym. And that fired me up. You know, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go do it. But I wasn't prepared. I really wasn't. If it wasn't for Kristen, you know, this may not have worked out, you know? So I think that you have to understand, like, it's not just showing up every day, turning the lights on, cleaning the floors, and coaching. You know, you got to know what an LLC is. You got to know how to pay your taxes, and, you know, all of that stuff, and what a triple net lease is, and all this shit that they don't teach you, right? And that was my big gripe with CrossFit when I started an affiliate, because there was no handbook for that. There is now, but there wasn't when I started one, and I'm sure there wasn't when a lot of affiliate owners started one. So that, you know, that would probably be my first thing. Like, hey, man, like, or, you know, girl, why are you doing this? And understand that it's not just 21:15 nines and starting a clock and, you know, all that stuff.
I think the other part would be is like, how into being an athlete are you? Because once you open an affiliate, your focus needs to be that gym, those people.
Which was hard for me.
Yeah. So
that was hard for me.
Becoming, you know, taking a step away from wanting to be a competitive athlete, or even focusing on your fitness, takes a back seat sometimes. Like, sometimes you just got to come in, get your workout done, whatever, and move on, because everybody needs a piece of you at some point during the day. And you can't be like, well, you have to wait 2 hours till I'm done with my training, because that's just not what it's about.
Yeah. So. Somebody comes in that wants to talk about the gym, and you're in the middle of a workout, you stop your workout and you make sure you get that, you talk to that person. Right. So
One of my favorite stories is that was their first time going to a CrossFit gym, and there was a guy working out in the corner with his shirt off, and he was working out, getting at it hard, and they walked in, and he looked at the door and he goes, "Hey, welcome. Good to see you. I'm going to be over there in 30 seconds. Let me wrap up here. I love you. Go welcome. Go walk around, check place out." And I just love that situational awareness.
Yes.
That this big fucking naked guy in the corner who's getting at it, he still keeps enough to watch and it was some head coach over there to to say hi to I just love that.
Yes.
What about this? So my whole life, growing up, I lived in a house with either my mom or my dad, and we would pull up in our car, and my dad would walk out to the street and pick up cigarette butts and throw them away. I never did that as a kid. But I would see my dad do that, right? And then finally, I got a house, and if I pull up to my house now, to the Three Plain Brothers compound, and I see someone's throwing something out the window, or someone's emptied out their ashtray near my house, I go out there with the broom and I immediately clean it up. I never let any trash or anything around my house.
Right.
And when I go to the skate park, and I've been going there, let's say every other day for 3 years, and I've been the only parent I've ever seen pick up trash there. And the only reason why I do it is because my kids skate there. There's this thing where people just don't want to give 100% for some reason, unless it's theirs. And yesterday, driving from Arizona, we stopped and I used the bathroom at a Chick-fil-A, and the bathroom was super clean. And I went into the toilet, and in the bottom there was an empty bottle, a vodka bottle, someone had drank vodka and thrown it in the corner behind the toilet. Oh. Now, if that bottle would have been not behind the toilet, but it would have been out, so I didn't have to reach behind the toilet, I probably would have gotten a paper towel and picked it up and thrown it away. But I don't think other people do that. And so, because I never see anyone do that shit. And if I throw something away to public trash can, if there's something easy that's on the ground there, easy for me to pick up, I'll pick up and throw it in the trash.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't see other people doing that. So when you tell me that you are going to set people up in these gyms and they're not the owners, I just don't think they're going to go to the 100-yard line. I think they're only going to do 99%.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? And I'm not hating on those people.
No.
I didn't even pick up the trash in front of my own house, but I just sat there and watched my parents do it.
Right.
A jackass kid.
Yeah. So when we opened up the second location, we made the head person 10% owner of the business.
Oh, smart. Okay.
So now you do have buy-in, right? You want this to thrive. You want to make that money. Well,
now, if you walk in after a guy who pissed on the seat, you're going to talk to him. You're not going to be like, "Oh, that's too uncomfortable." He's going to be like, "Hey, Johnny, don't pee on the seat anymore."
And that's kind of the idea.
I like it.
Make them an owner and give them some buy-in to it, where it's hey, this is yours. If you want it to go the way you want it to go, you better, I'm the guy that's in the gym where it's if I mop the floor with a new mop head and you get the little fuzzies that get stuck on the mats, I'm walking behind and I'm picking up the fuzzies off the ground because I don't want people to see that shit on the floor, right? I'm also, and this drives her fucking bonkers, but I'm also the guy that will bring my shopping cart all the way back to the front where it's supposed to go and not just leave it in the little cart corral thing.
Wow. I just kick up the wheels on the curb.
No way. Nope. If I see that shit, I'll pull it with my cart and put it away. Man. No way. Because
really? You'll drive over there with you holding the cart out your car window? You've done that? Is that what you said you do?
No. I'll walk it
that would be gangster.
All the way back up, put it in there.
I got 3 kids in the car. I ain't doing shit. When people are "You got to push your car back," I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." I got 3 kids. I'm pushing this shit up on the closest curb. But I hear you.
I bring it to the cart corral. I don't bring it back up to the.
Here's the deal. I use that car, right? It's not somebody else's responsibility to come put my shit away.
Yeah, there's a kid that gets paid to do that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And I used to be that kid. Yeah. And let me tell you, I loved it when someone took a cart 4 blocks away, and that took me 40 minutes to get. Because then I was like, I'm not inside the store today.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
If you do
but I hear you, Leon. We're talking about weird shit now. You're a good dude. Don't let us.
That's great.
Hey, it's all good. I'm gonna do what
me and Kristen are like, it's perfectly okay to shit in your neighbor's yard. It's fertilizer. It's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Kristen and I justify anything.
If they're assholes, then I'll go for it. Hey, I need to backtrack real quick. We were talking about Justin Medeiros and the games and stuff. Yeah. And unpopular opinion, but I'd like to see Ricky Garrard win.
Oh, me too.
Would you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love Ricky. Even though he doesn't come on the show enough, I love Ricky. Yeah, he's great. I'm a huge Justin fan, but I love Ricky too. I'm really happy with the guys at the top right now.
Me too.
Battling, and I like I like Jay Crouch from Australia. I like the male competition. I like Colton Mertens. I like the whole cast of fucking weirdos.
I'm enjoying it myself. I love the growth in Mayhem Nation and watching all those athletes come. That's so dope. Even hard work pays off. Having that crew, watching how these different groups are going to come up against each other this year. I'm pretty excited about that. It's pretty awesome. Are you going to be out to the games this year?
No,
never.
Right?
No.
I mean, I would have to be like financially really feasible for me. The thing is if I'm out and about, then I'm not doing my podcast.
Yeah.
And so I'm just lucky that I have people who want to help me with the podcast and participate. So if they can go to the games and they do that, and I can just be at the mothership, like tinkering with the computer.
Yeah.
How do you become an analyst for your team?
I don't just ask. I mean,
you can do it, man.
You can't do it.
Guys all the time.
You do? Okay.
All the time. I'm like, nope, that's not right.
Not Brian.
Not Brian. Brian's got me, but
okay. I don't think
with this shit. That's why.
I don't think you're on the text thread, Leon. But but just have Kristen give you my phone number and just start texting me. You have to just chirp in my ear. This thing is basically, this podcast is me just, like when you have something you want to watch on TV, and so you go to the laundry to bring the clothes to fold in front of the TV, but you have too many clothes and they're just like falling out everywhere, but you don't care. You're not being practical. You're just rushing back to the TV. That's the way this show is. I'm holding on to like so much and shit's just falling off to the wayside. Yeah, so you have to be that sock that's like, yo, over here, pick me up. So anything you ever see that, like any shows you watch where you're like, hey, that was wrong, or hey, I really like that, just text me. Just start bugging me. No one could ever bug me text. I feel no obligation to anybody. So like, it might take me 10 days to text someone back. No one can ever bug me.
Okay.
I'm unfucking buggable because I just am living my life. So just get my phone number from Kristen and just stay in touch with me. And then finally be like, fuck this dude. I'm bringing him on. He thinks he knows everything.
Fucking A. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way we'll do it.
What you wish for.
Okay. Thank you. I'm actually going to watch Greg's kids in a jiu-jitsu competition right now. I'm in Arizona. Yeah, my kids are so excited to go watch his kids compete. So I'm going to do that now. Hey, I really, you guys are easy.
Thank you.
God, yeah. If you guys were neighbors, if I could build a neighborhood, I would hang out at your house. You guys are cool shit. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, that's dope. We appreciate that. Thank you.
We feel
all right. Stay in touch. And I have a feeling our paths are gonna cross again.
Me too.
Okay, Lumberjack Athletics, also known as CrossFit Luke, Kristen, and Leon.
Thanks, Sevan.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day. Hi. Hey, babe. Are the kids ready? You're awesome. Yeah, I didn't hear a peep. I'm just doing the podcast in the middle. I need to take a picture and show you what I'm doing. You're in a podcast in the middle of in the middle of this house. It's a 4-bedroom house, and Haley's like, "You're doing it right in the middle. Why don't you do it in one of the bedrooms?" I'm like, "Because the bedrooms don't suit me."
I feel like I'm doing that right now. I'm in like the middle of my house too.
I think I saw your wife in the background one time.
Yeah, she's bringing me breakfast.
She's a good dude. Oh yeah, fights tonight. Oh shit, yeah. Okay. Sorry about all the schedule changes. I was up for like 24 hours yesterday. It was not a good day for me. I was tripping. I will text you at 1 a.m. Then not respond for 10 days. That's a good point. I do text you like at 1 a.m. and not respond for 10. All right, guys. I will see all of you guys soon. I'm I'll hopefully try to do a show tonight, but I don't know. I'm partying pretty hard. Okay. Want to say bye, Caleb?